If you love real horror stories, paranormal investigations, and psychological ghost encounters, this is a story you don't want to miss. Subscribe, turn on the bell, and get ready. Because room 502 never stays closed for long. I never believed in ghost stories until we decided to visit Waverly Hills Sanatorium in Kentucky. Me and 3 of my friends went in just for the thrill, something spooky to record and scare ourselves with. The place had a reputation, over 63,000 deaths when it was a tuberculosis hospital, and darker rumors afterward. The moment we stepped through the gates, it was silent. But not peaceful silent, more like the building was watching us. We started on the 4th floor. Locals say it's the most haunted. Sam, one of my friends, heard footsteps behind a locked door. When we opened it, there was only darkness. But later, when we checked our footage, we saw a shadow move, fast and deliberately. We moved on to the infamous death tunnel, a pitch-black passage where they once transported bodies so the sick wouldn't see the dead piling up. The air there was freezing. We started hearing whispers, calling our names. I turned around and saw glowing eyes in the dark, attached to a twisted, smiling face. But the worst part was room 502. Everyone knows the legend. A nurse died by suicide there, and her spirit never left. The door creaked open by itself. The walls had stains, looked like blood, and the air turned ice cold. One of us froze, pointing toward the window, mumbling, "She's there, she's waiting." Then, the door slammed shut behind us. Each of us heard something different. I heard my mother screaming. Sam heard a crying child. And the others couldn't even speak. We tried to leave, but every hallway twisted and shifted. It was like the building itself was alive and angry. We don't remember how we got out. Just woke up outside the gates. But all our cameras were fried, burned from the inside. Since then, none of us have been the same. We wake up to whispers. We see faces in mirrors. And the worst part, I don't think we ever really left. It's been a year. I tried to forget. I really did. But the truth? Part of me never left Waverly Hills. The nightmares, the whispers, the photo that appeared on my desk, a faded picture of a nurse in white standing in room 502, they wouldn't stop. So I went back. Not alone this time. I found others online, people who dreamed of Waverly without knowing what it was. One even drew room 502 from memory. I gathered 3 of them, and we all agreed we had to return. Maybe to find answers. Maybe to end the curse. Maybe to die trying. Night 1 inside Waverly. We entered just before midnight. It looked the same. Still. Cold. Watching. But something was different. The building wasn't just haunted anymore, it felt hungry. On the 4th floor, room 502's door stood wide open. Adam, one of the new guys, stepped in and screamed. "They're here. They're all around us." We saw nothing. But he was shaking. Then, the door slammed shut behind us again. And footsteps began to echo, slow, heavy, coming from the dark end of the hallway. Blood began to leak from the walls. Faces formed in the ooze, screamed silently, then vanished. The death tunnel, again. We tried to run, but suddenly, we weren't on the 4th floor anymore. We were underground. The death tunnel. And that's where we saw him. Sam. But not really. His skin was pale. His eyes were solid black. He said, but it wasn't his voice. "You came back. Too late. The place has chosen. One of you must stay." Then everything went dark. Crashing sounds. Screams. And one by one, they vanished. I was alone again. until I saw a small iron door. I opened it. It led to a surgery room. Dusty. Silent. And on the table, a medical file. My name on the front. The last page said, accepted into retrieval phase. Phase 3 begins at dusk. Do not exit. I'm still here. Still writing. If you find this, don't come back. Waverly isn't a place. It's an idea. And once you think about it long enough, you'll hear a door close behind you too. The strange thing about staying in Waverly long enough? You forget time exists. The night doesn't end. The silence hums. And something inside you starts to change, like the building is breathing through you. Day 1 after disappearance. I woke up strapped to a table in the same operating room. The walls weren't dusty anymore. They were alive, bleeding gray words that shifted every second. Every step back costs a soul. You are not the visitor. You are the experiment. Sam was the beginning. You are the end. I felt a needle in my neck, never saw who did it. And then, memories started replaying. Like someone was digging into my mind. Every visit. Every scream. Every shadow. That's when I realized we were never random explorers. We were chosen. Retrieval had begun. I saw the others, those who disappeared. But they weren't the same. Adam was standing silently by room 502. His body was fine, but his eyes were dead. He looked at me and whispered, "There's no escape, only surrender." That's when I knew what retrieval really meant. They weren't ghosts. They were recruits. The building takes people, turns them into watchers, so they can trap the next ones. My escape, or so I thought. I found an old map with something strange. A room that shouldn't exist, room 0. An old note written in shaky handwriting read, "If you find room 0, you might forget. You might leave." I followed the signs. The building began to fight me, whispers turned to screams, walls stretched, doors vanished. But I found the door. Old wood. Dusty brass knob. Room 0, the end or the beginning. I stepped through. Everything went white. No sound. No pain. Just release. And a child's laughter. Then my voice. Saying, "I choose to forget." Now. I woke up in my own bed. Normal. Safe. Free? But on my desk was a photo. Room 502 again. And on the back, in my handwriting, I left. But I forgot what came out with me. Since that day, every night, a door creaks open, and a whisper from my closet asks, "Whose turn is it now?"